Welcome to Salaam Nerds Podcast. We do reviews and recaps of nerd culture, reality TV, and current events from this week.
Yo, it's the Salaam Nerds. My name is Dean, aka Watch the Dean. I'm here with my boy Chad.
We drop live episodes on YouTube on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. All episodes can also be found everywhere podcasts are found. Thank you to all our supporters. Please help us by subscribing and leaving a good review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yo, Salaam Nerd. This is your boy Neebs, aka Watch by Neeb, and I'm here with my co-host Jazz, aka DJ Magenta.
It's Plum.
It's Plum. Okay. Fair. DJ Plum. That's why I did all the colors in Plum. I actually don't know if it's Plum. It's actually purple.
It's purple, yeah.
Let's see if
For
I
those
can...
that don't know, on YouTube, when we have our little banners at the bottom, we change the color every episode. And right now it's dark purple.
Oh, that's Plum, right? This is Plum.
You need more red.
You need more red.
I do need more red.
All right, how about this? This is Plummy.
That's like a really dark purple. You know what? Let me just do it.
No, I can do it. Dark purple. All right, fine. Go ahead. You do it. You take the blame. Screw this.
I will take the blame.
Welcome, everybody, to Salaam Nerds Podcast, where we recap episodes of your favorite TV shows. This week, we are doing The Penguin. We did not do a Salaam Nerds weekly episode because I was in... That is pink, Jazz. What are you doing?
On.
See,
there we go.
It's not. That's what I had. That's literally what I had.
You did not. There was way less red.
Get out of here. You can't even do red on here.
Wait, you're colorblind. What are you talking about?
All right. Let's do it. Let's talk about whatchamacallit. Well, before that, I want to get we did take a little bit of a break. I was doing I was at the Moscow Film Festival, and I definitely want to do an episode on that later this week because it was an incredible experience. So many great movies we got to watch, and it was a cool experience. I hung out with a lot of cool people. Highly recommend everyone check out the Oscars Film Festival. It's the Muslim Oscars, and it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. Jad, I wish you could have came.
I wish I could have been there too. It's just been a very busy time, but it is what it is.
I get it. Well, hopefully I get to see you soon. Maybe I'll come out to Houston and we'll do a live show in person. That might be fun.
Hey, come through, man.
Come through. All right. So let's talk about Gotham City, aka New Jersey. It's canon, baby. It's canon. Oh my God, that you don't know how happy that made me. That made me so happy. Shout out to Matt Reeves. Shout out to the production. Officially, canonically, we've known this for a while. It's been in the comics. It's been in old school maps. You can look this up on Google. But Gotham City is canonically New Jersey.
Congrats.
Love it. It makes sense, though. It makes sense. Here's the thing. A lot of people are mad. A lot of New Yorkers are mad because they're like, Gotham City should be New York. And I'm like, first of all, New Yorkers can't keep calling New Jersey a shithole and then get mad when we get to be portrayed as a shithole in DC.
Can't argue that logic,
right? Metropolis is like the nice city across the bay, and Gotham City is the shithole. Which, New Jersey, that checks out.
But I mean, to be fair, if New Yorkers want to call New York a shithole, more power to them.
I know. You know what's really funny, especially in the Zack Snyder universe, Metropolis is across the bay from Gotham City. So it's what's Superman doing? He's like, I will protect the entire planet minus across the
Gotham.
It doesn't even make sense.
It's a Baltimore, Washington, DC kind of thing.
Yeah. Brown Boy One said it's always New York or Chicago for me. No, you're wrong. But to be fair, it is filmed a lot in New York, and it is filmed a lot in Chicago. Christopher Nolan basically filmed all of Batman Begins and The Dark Knight in Chicago. But for The Dark Knight Rises, he also filmed it Pittsburgh, New Jersey, and New York. So that's fair. And the Joker, the Todd Phillips one, is filmed in both New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey, and the Bronx. So those are the two places that's filmed. So they've always had a little bit of Jersey in them, but let's be real. Gotham is New Jersey. Even in the Christopher Nolan, they mentioned that Bruce Wayne goes to Princeton. And sure, the argument could be made that and people from all over the world can go to Princeton, but that in-state tuition, baby, in-state tuition. That's how the rich stay rich.
Hey, guy, this dude's a billionaire. I don't think he gives a shit about like in-state or out-of-state tuition.
How the rich stay rich, bro. You don't know. I've hung out with super rich people, and it's always boggles my mind how they rarely ever pick up the check. Like, it's weird to me. I hang out with people who like are like essentially like millionaires, and I'm always like, it's a little sus. Like, are you fronting? Are you, or is that just how the rich stay rich?
They're fronting.
Right? Or it could be they're like afraid people are going to take advantage of their generosity and expect that. Maybe that's why. Maybe let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
So the rule I have is like whenever I go with friends, right?
Yeah.
Whoever invites somebody out pays.
Fair.
Right? And this way, like if they pick the place, they're paying. If I pick the place, I'm paying. And the cool thing about this is like, I have friends who are way richer than me. If they pick a nicer place, they're paying. I also have friends who are not as well off as me. And so if I pick the place, I'm paying. And like we all do what's within our range. It's easy and it's great.
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I get it though sometimes, because like sometimes I'll be hanging out with like a female friend of mine, and there's some that I'll be like happy to pay, and there's some they just expect you to pay, and I'm just like,
that's not because you're rich or poor. That's just because you're a guy.
I know, but still, I'm trying, like, that's how rich people might feel, because sometimes you're like, if it's fine when like it's certain friends and you're super close, but then there's some people who are just like they expect that out of you, and you're just like, I don't know. Maybe by paying for your meal, I am engaging in sexism, right? I should be treating you equally.
But if you don't, you're not being chivalrous.
But isn't chivalrous just like positive sexism? If you think about it, it's just it is a form of sexism. If you think about it,
I can't argue with that logic right now.
right?
Holy shit!
Like it makes sense. Like you're treating someone different, and it's a positive form of sexism. Like everyone's happy about it, but it is technically sexism. So we'll see. All right, let's talk about the Penguin, because this takes place in the Matt Reeves universe. It is amazingly shot. Gotham City, we just talked about it. Looks amazing. This is the best Gotham City has ever looked, in my opinion. It's got the like darkness of the Tim Burtons without the campiness, but also the realism of Christopher Nolan, and then just like the comic book part of like the Zack Snyder universe. It's got a little bit of everything, and I just feel like it just looks so good. I love the way Gotham looks, even better than the Fox Gotham show, which I was like, it takes place in a weird era. Like they didn't have cell phones and you couldn't really tell. It was like the 90s or something. I don't know when that one actually takes place, but this is my favorite Gotham. Hands down,
I agree.
The best Gotham there ever is. And to New York's, defense, it does look a little more like New York, even though it's canonically New Jersey. They got a Times Square and they got a Madison Square Garden. like I can't fuck with that. Like I could kind of just like, yeah, you based it off New York, but we're still claiming it. But I did like the fact that they showed a little bit of what happened in the Batman. Like it's a continuation
Mm-hmm.
of that. Like it
Matt
just
Reeves Batman. Yeah.
yeah, it just happened, and I think that's really cool. We got to see the arena, we got to see the wall break, and while all of this stuff is happening, the Penguin goes to his bar or lounge, the Iceberg Lounge, and he goes and picks up this folder and a bunch of jewels, and then he meets
The
Alberto.
blackmail folder.
Yeah, and he meets Alberto Falcone, and I'm just like, so we're just picking off like right as the movie like ends. Like this is like legit. Like this just happened, and in the chaos of everything, he is like doing this, and he's just sitting there, and he's such a smooth talker, and man, Colin Farrell is so good in this.
Okay. But Falcone obviously knew he was blowing smoke up his ass. Like
He did.
he was just toying with him. He's like, he's my new minion. Let me have some fun. And then
Yeah.
just like, eggs him on. And then, he tells him about the dream. About that one gangster from his childhood who would like go around, know everybody's name, and like be like a real community guy, right? And then he was revered, as he said. And then, Falcone's like, why do I want to be some small time pissant like that?
Yeah.
Like that's when he broke. He was like, all right, the charade's gone long enough. Let me show him who I really am.
But this is what I really loved about this show, and Brown Boy Wonder just said it. He said the show literally would not exist if he didn't shoot this guy, which is fair. But the reason I really loved it is because like we get into the psychology of the Penguin, and we've never seen this version of the Penguin because he is a mobster, he is a gangster, right? He's the Tony Soprano, another Jersey reference, of Gotham City, and I love seeing those. And just like Tony Soprano, he does these horrible things, but he does believe he is the good guy. And when he tells that story about Rex and about like, yeah, he was a gangster, but look how much good he did for the community. He would help people. He would do it. And in his head, that's how he imagines himself. He imagines himself as a hero and a gangster. And when this guy shitted on someone who he respected and admired, he was like completely on instinct. Bam, 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 bam. Just shot him. And I feel like just in the first 10 minutes of this show, we get more psychological depth of the Penguin than we have in any other medium. And I think that's fantastic about this.
It's refreshing. Like that's the only word I have for this. I'm expecting DC to just like, like they try to copy Marvel, right? They try to make it like funny with like some weird jokes here and there, and like it's very formulaic with the way Marvel's doing it. That's what I was expecting going into it, right? No, this is a psychological thriller, and I love it. It's just so good.
It really grounds the superhero world of Matt Reeves, and I just love that aspect of it. And like you can just watch it and just be completely in the story instead of like even Marvel. You're kind of just like, what's going to happen next? How is it canon? How are these people connected? And who's going to surprise cameo? Whereas this is just like, we could not have another mention of Riddler and Batman the entire series, and it would still satisfy me. Like, I don't even need that.
I don't, because I'll leave that to the movies. Honestly, leave it to the movies. Let's just focus on Penguin right now. This is amazing.
Yeah. Someone says, wait, what about the show Gotham? It has some depth with the Penguin.
Yeah, season 2.
I do believe that Penguin is fantastic and he's really good, but he is still a little more comical than he is in this, right? This one is way more grounded, and you get to see a little bit of a psychology and how he becomes like this gangster, but it's almost like he becomes this gangster because of circumstances, which is very similar to here, but this is more of like an intentional Penguin. And you see a little bit of like, hey, this is how I get by. This is how we're going to take over Gotham. I don't know. I just think it's really cool to see the psychology of him being like, hey, this is how I see myself. I am a hero, but I'm also someone not to be fucked with. And I love that part of the Penguin. And holy crap, the voice that Colin Farrell does, the
Yeah.
acting, the accent, it's so good. The gravitas in his voice, the freaking makeup. Like, I swear, if this show does not get an
The
Emmy
scars,
for makeup,
like, ooh,
the scars, the teeth, like, it's so great. Gangster with a heart like Tracy Morgan.
that's a good way to describe him.
You know what's really funny? There was a back in the day when Trump was trying to be no, it wasn't Trump. It was Kanye West. When Kanye West was like going crazy and saying all these weird things on Twitter, someone says if you just put Liz Lemon in front of every tweet, it sounds like Tracy Morgan from the show 30 Rock. It's so great.
That's funny.
His tweets were crazy. But in like the whole realism, which like you also kind of understand why they call him the penguin. Like the way he walks, it's kind of like a penguin, and he wears like the black white suit, so you kind of get it. But to ground the character even more, they decide not to call him Oswald Cobblepot. Instead, they're calling him Oscob, which is the dumbest name I've ever heard. I was like, Oswald Cobblepot is fine. I don't understand why they changed it to Oscob Pagash or whatever his name is.
His name is Oswald Cobb.
Yeah, but they call him Oscob.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking salad.
I mean,
Salad ass sounding name. I don't like. They didn't need to do that. Cobblepot is fine.
Cobblepot sounds kind of weird though. It sounds like a very old timey name that just didn't stick with the times. Like, do you know anyone with a last name like Cobblepot?
But like he is from like a Eastern European like heritage. Why not have like something like Cobblepot in his name?
I mean, I feel like this is not too serious of a thing. Like, Cobb is fine. That's a very common name. Like, I know people who have a last name Cobb. Like, it just made a bit more
Oscob.
like recent sense to me, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I didn't like that. I felt that was disrespectful. But you know what? The
Like,
show is good. I'm not gonna dwell on it.
Have you met like a guy named like Xander or something?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like old timey names that have gone out of style. Like, have you met a guy named Theodore?
I mean, isn't Theodore like Teddy short for Theodore?
Yeah. Have you met a Theodore?
They just go by Teddy, but they are Theodore.
Have you met a Teddy then?
Yeah, I know plenty of Teds.
You know Teds. You don't know Teddies or Theodores, do you?
But like Ted is a short version of
Okay,
Theodore.
fine. Maybe Theodore wasn't like. I'm trying to like. Give me a second. I'll think of a name
Like
that's
Gertrude?
like really old timey. Yeah, Gertrude. Sure. Yeah, Gertrude's a good one. Have you met a Gertrude?
No, but like names just go in and out of fashion. It's fine. It's fine.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's fine. Cobblepot went out of fashion and Cobb is fine.
All right. Bertha. Someone said Bertha.
Bertha.
Oh, man.
I haven't met a Bertha. In fact, when I was in band back in high school, we had this giant ass instrument, like a marimba, and the biggest one we had, we called her Big Bertha.
Big Bertha. That's funny. All right. So Alberto and Penguin have this conversation. He gets shot out. Now this becomes a murder cover-up. And you're like, okay. And you see like Oswald like, shit, this is what I gotta do now. And he's just like not afraid to get his hands dirty. And you really see that he's like a lower level but up and coming gangster, right? And he's like picking up this guy and he's like, oh yeah, he's dead, so I'm just gonna throw him down the stairs.
When he threw him down the stairs, I was like, that is so, I can't say relatable because I've never done it, but if I was in that situation, like, I would have been like, oh yeah, he's dead. Why the fuck do I care about mutilating this? Yeah, I'm gonna do this too. Like, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I get it. Like,
yeah. And so this guy tells him about the new drug. He tells him about like how he has Salvatore Maroni's ring, and he's just like giving him up all of this stuff, and like he's just learning all the stuff, and you see him kind of just like, hey, I'm gonna take this freaking ring off of him, and he takes it, and he's like, okay, now I gotta go and stuff him in the car. As this is happening, a bunch of kids are trying to steal his hubcaps or rims, and he shoots at them, which, if you don't know, is a reference to Jason Todd, because that's how Jason Todd is discovered by Batman. He was trying to steal the rims off the Batmobile, which I think is really funny and a cool callback. Also because this kid kind of, he could have been a Robin if Batman found him. Like it's just
Honestly,
his luck,
I see it. He's a very good
right?
sidekick. Yeah.
Right? He's turning into his sidekick. It's kind of like the show is telling you, like, hey, man, we are the sum of our what you call it? I don't know, opportunities or our consequences, right? So this guy went and he just happened to steal the wrong car, and look what happened to him. It just led him down this path. I
Hmm.
thought that was really cool. And he's like, and then how? And the thing is, like, you can see why Oz had a little bit of a soft spot for him because he starts talking and he has a little bit of a stutter. And he was like, "Hey, I also have like a disability." So he kind of had like a soft spot for him, which I was like, this is the layers of the Penguin that we're getting, right? He's like this opportunist, he's this evil person, but he sees himself as a good guy. And this is an opportunity where like the opportunity to be a good guy came up where he's like, I don't have to kill this kid. So he's like, all right, I'm not gonna kill this kid, but I got this disability, so I need help. I could use some help carrying this stuff. So he takes him on as like someone who he's forcing to help him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting.
He's
And he
the
gives him,
boss. Yeah,
yeah,
like he's the boss. It was kind of cute how he did it that way. I was like, oh, he
I
cares.
like that. And then he's in the car and you like they're trying to dispose of a body, and he's like, "You like my air freshener, man? You like Aqua Paradise?" he's just unhinged.
I love it. It was so perfect. The little line just like it came out of nowhere, like in the most inopportune moment. And you're just
Yeah.
like, you know what? Yeah, I can see the penguin doing shit like this. Like this is just great.
This is such a good version. And I like the Penguin since the Batman because like when my favorite part is when what do you call it? Batman and Commissioner Gordon try to interrogate him. He's like, "What is this? Good cop, bad cop?" He's trolling them and messing with them the whole time. And I thought that was really, really funny. So I always liked him, and we get the most iconic scene with him where the Batmobile flips upside down and we see the camera angle flip upside down and he comes and grabs him. Oh, like every scene with the Penguin was so good. And also the Penguin's lounge where like the gunfighting happened in the hallway kind of turns dark. So like
Yeah.
every scene with the Penguin was beautiful in the Batman. So I was really excited to see this here too. Um, so they tried to get rid of the body, and at this point, they're like, they take it to a junkyard and just leave it in a car. And I'm like, oh, okay, the car is gonna crush this person. It's gonna get rid of the evidence. I didn't know they were going to use the body later on, which happened at the end, which I was like,
We'll get to that. Yeah.
that was that
That
was.
reminded me of like all right, you know what? You just want to talk about it?
We can talk about it. Let's skip around. It's fine. Let's do it.
Okay, yeah. So that reminded me of Breaking Bad almost. Like this the way it happened, like it was very reminiscent of Breaking Bad.
You're right. That is such a Breaking Bad type of like scenario where
Yeah.
like what you call it, like Walter White gets stuck in this situation and then Jesse does something to get him out, and like you are so right. That did have very much like Breaking Bad vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Is this
This is gonna be
Sopranos
the
meets
new Breaking Bad.
This is Sopranos meets Breaking Bad in the Batman universe? Like, holy shit! Like, how do we not sell this? Like, that's the easiest sell ever. If someone told us we're gonna make a
Easiest sell.
if someone told us like, "Hey, this show is gonna feature the Penguin," I'd be like, he's like, who's gonna care about this character?" But wait, it's gonna be like Breaking Bad meets The Sopranos, and I'd be like, "Holy shit! Here's my money."
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, man. In fact, go ahead and make that tweet right now and put it out there, just so we can be the first to say it. That's exactly how I would describe the show. It's The Sopranos meets Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's so good. And the thing is, like, we as the audience didn't see it coming. Like, I was like,
We didn't.
what's gonna happen here? Like, from the preview, you can tell him and Sophia work together a little bit. So you're kind of just
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, fine. And it just makes sense that way that like something would happen, but like I didn't know what. I was like, there's no way he's getting out of this lie. And I thought that was just really, really fantastic. The way it just came together at the end and the subtleness of it and the timing of it. And then Victor, like we also get to see him, like he is dependable because you see the Joker calling him and he's not picking up, and he's like, this kid fucked me, man. He's useless. But like Victor came through. So I thought that was really cool, man. Wait, the way it ended, I'm like, this is what I want from like Disney shows, because every time a Disney show ends, it like doesn't feel satisfying. Like you can leave the audience wanting more, but you also need to leave the audience satisfied. And like Disney shows, they're either like they leave the audience satisfied or they leave them wanting more. Never both. And that's where I feel like they screw up with like Star Wars and Disney. Whereas like this show, like is episode felt so complete. The way it ended is like, yes, I want to know what happens next. I want to know more. But like you completed this little arc that they had in this scene, and you got us to where we were satisfied. And that's why I really, really love the writing of the show. I think it's fantastic. And as someone said in the comment, that's why it's HBO.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned a character right now.
Yeah.
Who was it? What was her name?
Sophia Falcone?
Yeah. Actress name I meant.
Oh my God. Christine
Milioti. Yeah.
Milioti. Yeah. The Ted's wife.
She's the Ted's wife from How I Met Your Mother, right? And in my mind, at first I was like, okay, I don't know how this is gonna turn out. But I remember when I watched How I Met Your Mother and they announced her as the mother, I was like, wait a second. This show's gonna be really good because of this. This ending's gonna be really good. And then How I Met Your Mother kind of totally went off the rails at the end there.
Sure.
But now we're seeing the Christina Milioti that I've wanted to see. Like, she has such a dynamic range of acting, and her role here as Sophia is just amazing.
Not only that, but like she transforms into Sophia. Because if you read the comics, like she has the facial expressions of Sophia. She has the clunk, eyelashes. It's just like the way she talks. You're like, holy crap. This is right off the pages from the comic books. And it's so interesting because like Matt Reeves wants to be so like grounded and real, but like the actors really do portray these larger than life characters. And it makes sense for that for someone like the Penguin who has like all this lore and stuff. But for Sophia Falcone, who's basically just another human, who's just like normal person, you can see it in like the way her eyes bulge out and the way she just looked at people crazy. Someone says in the comments, everyone had a crush on her.
Done.
Listen,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, listen, it's a fear boner. You're scared or not. It's one of those because she is crazy.
Yeah. In the show, yeah, she's crazy. But like also, mashallah, she's beautiful. I'm like,
yeah, for sure. So let's talk about whatchamacallit,
that scene with the mansion, because I was like, that's where we left off, right?
Yeah, so they go to the mansion. They go to Robbinsville, which is also in New Jersey. I don't know if they meant to be the same Robbinsville, but that's really interesting. And then the Penguin is basically talking to these gangsters, and he's like, you gotta shut down your whole operation. He's gotta shut it down. He's like, well, wait, there is a shipment happening, and this is going to be a new drug, and I can do all this and that. And then Sophia walks up right behind him. And this scene is shot so beautifully because she is not in focus, and she slowly comes into focus, and she's like, doesn't have this huge frame, but she still comes off like menacing in this scene. And it's shot so well. The cinematography is so beautiful that you really get to see like them introduce this character, and you're like, oh, this is Sophia. And then she asked him, like, what do you know about my brother? And we don't learn until after, you go to the dinner scene. She's like so smart. She's picking up the fact that, if her brother told him about this, he wouldn't be claiming it as his own idea. And for him to claim it as his own idea, he would have to be very sure that he's not coming back. So that, plus the fact that he has a magenta car or a plum colored car, she's putting everything together. And you can really see like Sophia's not someone to be fucked with. She's not just like, oh, they just took a character and made her a woman. She is this really smart, like, force to be reckoned with. And I really like how they're showing her that way.
I can't even begin to explain how much I like her character. Also, I can't remember if it was Johnny or Milo's who's like, what was his name? Stamper from House of Cards.
House of Cards, yeah.
I was like, okay, they picked the perfect enforcer, like right here. This is really cool. Like,
Well, he is in the Iceberg Lounge in the Batman, so he's he's
yeah,
a character we've seen already.
hmm
So yeah, I thought that was really cool, and you already know he's corrupt because he's from Gotham, and everyone in Gotham is corrupt,
of course, yeah. And
right?
like just the little tie-ins there, they're so good. But yeah, back to Sophia. Oh my god.
And the fact they added this layer of her like being in Arkham and she just got out of Arkham, it's like,
Yeah,
oh, she's not just crazy, she's crazy, crazy.
it's crazy, crazy. Yeah, and then they're like, they went to the restaurant right after, right?
Yeah.
To get a bite to eat, and the way she was eating with her hands, I was like, oh,
Oh, I didn't.
they're really going all out with this crazy, crazy business here. Like,
Mm,
and because like she's just eating like you saw Penguin or Oz being uncomfortable there. Like
yeah.
she was eating with her hands and chewing loudly and just taking things off the waiter's plate. Like it was interesting to see such a refined version of her a scene before than seeing her eat like this. And
Mm,
then immediately they jump into, oh, so you said this thing that my brother told me, and
mhm,
we haven't seen my brother now. What the
mhm.
fuck is going on? Like, cards on the table, let's play poker. I was like, oh my god, this is so good.
And the thing about this that is so great is that like the Penguin doesn't just freak out. He's like, okay, I gotta add some contingencies. I gotta add some plans. So we see him go to the prison and talk to Salvatore Maroni and try to make a deal with him. And he leaves him this like ring. And I'm like, oh, he's trying to leave the ring to, as a goodwill gesture to see like, hey, you can trust me. But at the end, we find out that he actually left the ring because he's going to be too conceited not to wear it. And he's going to be shown wearing it around, which is going to help his alibi of what you call it, that
I didn't
Salvatore
kill.
Falcone is the person who did this because they write payback on the trunk. And I'm just like, what a well thought out plan. And like for a lot of these shows, I can see things coming.
Yeah,
And I didn't see this coming, this little masterful plan.
it was just so well executed. And then even in the middle, right before all that happens, when he goes to get his mom, and you see him like break under the pressure from his mom scolding him for like, what did you do? Why I'm like, she figured out he was in danger or she was in danger. And she was like going ham on him. And he was like, I didn't do it. I didn't kill him because like, he laughed at me. I did it out of instinct almost. And
Yeah.
like, it was so cool seeing that. Like,
Well, that's what she
she,
told him,
yeah,
right? So that the thing, because you think like, oh, she's like this old lady who's like a woman, and he's like trying to explain it to her in a way that doesn't make her worry. And she goes, "No, you didn't do this because he laughed at you. You did it because it was instinct. You're a warrior. You're like a badass. It's trying to
yeah.
be like."
She's the mom who molded the gangster. Like,
Also, I didn't know the Penguin had brothers. He apparently has like two brothers.
two brothers. Yeah, he's the youngest. Yeah.
And one of the things that's really interesting is that the mom said, "Oh, the boys didn't want to get out of the tub," and I'm like, "Oh, does she have Alzheimer's? Is
Yeah.
that what the pills are for?" So like, that's so interesting how they're going to play this character because like she's someone with Alzheimer's who doesn't have a grasp on reality, but she's also giving him like the advice that he needs. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
It's so good. I love everything about this show.
Yeah. And then also when she turned on like Victor, I was like, oh no, is she racist?
No, that was definitely just trauma there.
Yeah. I was like, why is she freaking out? But that part took me out. I
Yeah,
was
and
like,
then Oz explained it, and she's like, "Oh, okay." Like Alzheimer's kicks in. Like, okay, yeah, life goes on. Like, I'm not
yeah,
scared anymore.
that's so crazy. I did like seeing that portion of him and his interaction with his mom. I think we're gonna get to see more of him and his mom in other
Yeah,
episodes, so I'm really excited about that. Also, then he takes Victor and they take the path and they're just like going around in like the subway and we get to see more of Gotham. This is where I love this scene because we really get to see like the streets of Gotham, the suburbs of Gotham, and it's just like all of the like they're driving off the highway and half the highway is like broken down from the floods and stuff. uh
hmm
Really like well intricated into the plot of the Batman without actually having to call back the Batman and like talk about it, right? So
Right, yeah.
it was really, really good. I really, really did like that. And then we see the scene where he basically goes in his car. Sophia finds him. He runs away. All these people are looking after him. And then he leaves the car door open and everybody goes and chases him through this field. And he's in the trunk. And I'm just like, yo, the show is just like pulling like all of these like cool scenes that I'm not seeing coming. Like, this was so cool. Oh, someone said the Riddler guy. Yeah, there was a Riddler guy with the QR code. Yeah, that was also crazy.
They're definitely doing an augmented reality segment to it where like in the real world we're gonna have like solve puzzles and they're gonna drop little clues all throughout the show. Yeah, that
Yeah.
like keep an eye out for those.
Someone said that they looked at it. I saw a tweet where someone says like, and it tells you where it takes you. So like the Riddler is inspiring people,
Mhm.
and you know, trying to see like, you know, what's happening here. And the thing is, like, this is why I love Gotham, because like I don't always think the bad guys are wrong in some ways, because and the thing is, like, people always say this thing where like, well, Batman shouldn't be out there beating up like mentally disabled people,
You
and
should pay taxes.
he should pay his taxes and invest in like programs. But that's what I love about the Batman, because that's literally what the Thomas Wayne Foundation grant was.
Mhm.
And what happened? People in power misused that grant. So in a city so corrupt, where you can literally invest millions and billions in the infrastructure of a company, and that grant is mismanaged, how do you fix that? Right? So it gives us the answer that all of the other movies that we've been asking, like Bruce Wayne could do so much good. And the thing is, like, Thomas Wayne did every single thing that we said. Invest in programs, the asylum, cops, police,
Public
all of this
transit.
stuff.
I mean, yeah.
This was like a unlimited slush fund that you could use to make the city better. And what did people do? They abused it. They embezzled it.
Yep. Yep.
There's no saving Gotham. That's why Ra's
Which
al
means
Ghul should have burned it down.
yeah.
He was right. Ra's was right. He's like, the Thanos was right, people. There should be a Ra's was right. Because it
I
made
mean,
sense.
you know how I feel about Thanos, right?
Listen. I like that we get to see this version of Gotham, because you're like, Gotham is built different. It is. You can't apply the rules to real life to Gotham because of how corrupt it is to the core.
Yeah. So what I was getting at was, I think Thanos was wrong, not in the sense that, you know, removing half of humanity was a bad thing.
Yeah, don't have a genocide.
It's because he didn't go far enough.
Oh my god. What? Wait, what?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Explain.
Well, I mean, mathematically speaking, like the human population doubles every 60 years.
Yeah.
So if he killed half the planet, he's only set us back 60 years, and we're gonna be in the same situation of overcrowding and all this stuff, like really soon.
So the solution was 100% of the people?
I'm not gonna go that far, man. But goddamn, Neebs.
I'm asking the question. I'm not saying that. Well, isn't that what Thanos says at the end? He goes like, "Oh, I'm going to, you know, instead of killing half the people, I'm going to race it to the atom and start from scratch." That's what he says in Endgame.
Start from scratch. I mean, that's one way to do it. But no, honestly, man, he should have gone to like 80%.
The thing is, with Gotham, is different. You don't have to commit a genocide. You just have to destroy the infrastructure and start from scratch from there. And the people
but-
have to die.
You can't destroy the infrastructure. You can destroy the entities, but not the infrastructure.
I mean, you kind of can, because that's what No Man's Land arc is about, right? Where like all the rich people run away, and then they have to do their own, you know, systems, and the crazies take over. But it is a way to help us navigate the story. Like we don't have to. It doesn't take us out to be like, well, Batman should have just done this. You should have done that. Like we can invest in this universe because we know how corrupt it is, and we know that we have to have a Batman because there's
Okay.
no reason that like we can fix it without him.
Counterpoint. In the
Sure.
beginning of this episode, when the lead authority figure dies, what happened?
At the end of this episode, or what?
No, in the beginning.
Oh, there's a power vacuum.
Bingo. If you just get rid of all the infrastructure, power
Yeah.
vacuum again.
Well, that's what Ra's al Ghul says. He knows how to do it because he's done it before.
Okay,
He's
yeah, well
done
then
it-
maybe
he-
Ra's al Ghul's right.
Ra's al Ghul has done it in different situations for different civilizations. He's like, we've done it before, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, someone says raise the Gotham minimum wage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there wouldn't be as many criminals helping out the Penguin. Like poor Victor. If Victor had a job making $20 an hour at Costco, like he wouldn't be in this.
You wouldn't
mess.
need to steal rims. Yeah, you're right.
Someone get this man a job at Costco. Oh man.
So the solution to all of our problems is not getting rid of money in politics, but having more money available to everybody.
Yeah. If people had more money, that makes a lot of sense. But it the idea that money can't solve everything. You need money, but you also need the right people to make sure the
Yeah.
money goes to the right place, right? People who are, who are altruists, I guess, like want to do the right thing.
Yeah, you need guardians. Like they
Yeah.
cannot be like you can't have people who are motivated by money, right?
Yeah.
Because they will find a way to skim some, as Oz did to the crime family. He was skimming on the top, but it was good for business, so to let it slide, right?
Exactly.
To do truly good work in this world, we need, and the book's right there. That's Plato. You need the philosopher kings. People who are kings, but it's a burden on them.
Yeah.
They must give up everything. They must sacrifice to be leaders. Leadership cannot be a thing to strive for. It is the thing that is earned.
Ooh, that's true. All
We're
right.
getting real philosophical in here about that.
Yeah. Well, let's go back and talk about something stupid, like a bus hitting a guy while
Oh yeah, that was
let's
talk about fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at that point, I'm like, oh, the penguin got away, and then he gets knocked out, and he wakes up buck naked. And that's
and Sophia's just standing over him like it was so good.
Apparently, he wore a prosthetic penguin penis in that scene.
I bet he did.
Oh my god, that's crazy. But yeah, you see the interrogation, great scene. The monologue with Sophia was so good, and you're like, he's done, man. Sophia's too smart.
Done.
She's like, there's no way he's getting out of it. Sophia like got his number. She figured it out, and then we see the car come through, and you're like, oh, he wiggled his way out. He Walter White his way out of this situation.
He totally Walter White his way out of the situation, and like, I believe the actual term is like Deus ex machina here, like just the world sending you something to make it work, like
the
universe conspiring to save you here. Like there was no way any of us saw that coming. Like it was just so good.
And you can see like the relationship between Victor and the penguin just growing, and Victor's like messing with him, like, hey, how come you didn't cut off the head? I thought we were just like, and he's like, no, it took me too long, and like it was freaking me out, and he's like, I just cut the finger, and he's like, all right, you still did a good job. And then they had the hush puppy with the mixed flavors, and I'm just like, this show's gonna be good. This show's gonna be good.
So good.
Even something as simple as like
excited.
Even something as simple as mentioning the hush puppies in like earlier in the episode, just randomly in the car, and then them going back, and the fact that like they're from the same town, you really get to see like the relationship and the characters, and they have great chemistry together. The two actors, I think they're fantastic. Oh man,
this is such a good show. Highly recommend those listening. This is the new Breaking Bad as of right now for me. I highly recommend watching the first episode. Please go watch it on HBO.
Honestly, I don't even need another Batman. You can just make shows like this with all his like villains rogue galleries, and I would be okay with it. And I don't even need Batman.
Honestly, yes, like 2 or 3 seasons
Yeah.
only, right?
Yeah.
Of these shows. And then you move on to the next villain and give
Right?
their origin story and how it ties into whatever's going on in the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
It's like it's like a tree, right? And as you're going up, you have little branches coming off
yeah.
that expand onto the story, right? But it helps the main trunk. And then you just keep growing higher.
And the fact is, like, they have the opportunity to do what Disney was trying to do, just way better, right?
Mhm.
The way, like, just give us these villains, like, give us Firefly, give us like villains that nobody cared about, but give us great stories, give us good writing,
Yes.
give us great acting,
Yes.
right? Oh my God, that'd be really great. All right, man. Well, that's the end of this episode, man. I really hope you guys appreciate it. I hope you guys like it. Give it a chance. We're gonna do more episodes next week. But so far, I am a big fan of the show, and
Mhm.
HBO does not miss. Matt Reeves does not miss, and we know that the Batman 2 is going to be set in winter, so that may mean we get Mr. Freeze. So
Bro.
I wonder if we get a little glimpse of Freeze at the end of
What
this.
what if they did a Poison Ivy show?
I would like a Poison Ivy show. That'd be really
I
great.
would like that very much too.
Oh, Poison Ivy would be great. So many characters would be great. But we'll just have to wait and see, man. Let's wait till next
Mhm.
week. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to give us a review. We are on Apple Podcasts. If you give us a good review, it helps the algorithm, helps us out. And until next time, guys, Salaam, nerd.